We have four individuals who are going to share some very important sound bites with you to get you thinking again this morning. All of them very, very highly involved with the issue of not only the development of the businesses, the communities they work with, the development of the entire area that we work with, but what that future could be. And future thinking is never, never an easy task. So I'd like to welcome first Tom Patton, who is the Executive Director of the Central Florida Development Council, to share a few observations with you. Tom?
Thank you, Judith. You know, I was watching that video and it looked very much like a YouTube type video, and I wanted to see a show of hands in here. How many of you have seen a YouTube video? Actually, a pretty good number of you. That's really interesting to see, because yesterday I was reading that YouTube now represents 10% of the activity on the internet, which just absolutely blew my mind that people are that deeply involved in it. And it really does have a great tie to how we try to redefine a region. Marshall had asked me to talk about the northeast side of Polk County, and you're going to have Steve Scruggs and Bobby and Neil come up and talk a little bit more about the west side along the I-4 high-tech corridor. You know, there's a lot of regional planning going on right now. I've been very involved with the Tampa Bay Partnerships reality check and one day process. MyRegion.org has been trying to define the 7-county region to the east of us. And now we've got another regional planning group that's developing to define the region to the south of us. And we're integrated within each of those because all of those circles overlap Polk County, which I think is very interesting. And we've got to be very careful because these regional processes can be very good in helping us define our region, but we don't want them to define it for us. We need to define our own region of Polk County the way we see it going. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Northeast Polk County in my review today. One of the most important things that I can tell you that you may not know about Northeast Polk County is that we have 15,000 people leave Polk County every day to go towards Orlando for a job. That's a net migration that we call brain drain. You know, as we look at all these different smart growth opportunities, we're looking at Northeast Polk County to be one of those areas to take advantage of some of these strategies that are coming out of my region. They talk about high-density development. They talk about mixed-use development. They talk about preserving our greenlands and creating clusters on transportation corridors that will create jobs and new lifestyles where you can walk to work, where you can walk to and play in the parks right in your own neighborhood, right next to where you work. These mixed-use, Class A, high-rise type developments is what we're looking to do between the Heart of Florida Hospital and going north into a section that we're calling an employment center in Northeast Polk County. And that's going to be very challenging to us because right now in Polk County we have three basic clusters. We have the agriculture and food processing cluster, we have the chemical and phosphate cluster, and we have a distribution cluster. But we really don't have that much in the way of new emerging high technology clusters. And if we're going to try to tie into this regional planning opportunity that we're looking at coming out basically on this side of my region and trying to bring those 15,000 people back to work in Polk County, you're not going to do it through the agriculture or through the phosphate industry going into high-rise buildings. So we're going to need to do something to create new jobs for the future of Polk County. We need to create talent in order to do that. And I talked earlier about the 15,000 people that leave every day. We have a similar problem with our education in Polk County because some of our best and most highly educated high school students are leaving Polk County to go elsewhere to be educated. And we call this brain drain. And I'm going to read a definition to you of brain drain. It's a little bit boiled down, but it's the flight of talented individuals to other jurisdictions due to the lack of opportunity where they're living. And I think we're really experiencing that right now with our most talented high school students. And what we need to do is be able to keep those students here, create new technologies here that will provide not only an interest for those students to stay here, but at the same time will create an interest in other students trying to move here. One of the things that we're also looking at within the county, and our Board of County Commissioners have had a number of retreats where we've discussed the concept of an incubator. And we've been saving money at the CFTC for an incubator once this USF campus comes here, to try to create some sort of mechanism to create this exciting new opportunity in education for our students and to recruit other students. And I've been looking at a number of different core incubators across the country that do exactly that. They're intended to do that. Out in San Francisco, they have a clean energy incubator. Well, you can just imagine that that's going to lead to a lot of job growth and a lot of new opportunities in the future. In Washington, or surrounding Microsoft, they have a software incubator out there that's closely associated with the Washington Software Association. That's creating new spin-off, new technologies, bringing new young talent to the Washington, to the Seattle area to try to create new businesses. This morning I was reading about one in Northwestern where IBM and San Francisco have combined together. And Marshall and I are both big Macintosh fans, and if you look at the number of students out there today that are using iPods, the number of students that are using Macintosh, the ones that are now jumping to this new iPhone, the opportunities exist between someone like Apple and AT&T to try to bring them into an incubator to try to develop new technologies of the future. Apple is also partnering right now with Intel in creating new chips. And I'm just learning recently that some of this chip technology and silicon can come from the phosphate industries, which has an interesting tie back to our community. So I put that out there as you try to look today at redefining a region. I throw those little ideas, tidbits of ideas out there for you as to what can we do and how can we do it. That's what we're going to find.